Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Jules, here for What Culture Gaming, joined by Rich and Josh.
Hello.
And we are deep in the thick of it. E3 is kicked off and is rolling away into the distance like a storming juggernaut. But the question is, what the hell's going on with Bethesda? Because that's what we're going to talk about today. They had their conference last night, and you know what? If you're going to put your best foot forward, they bloody stomp the ground with it, because there are a lot of good things to talk about.
Yes. They put every foot they have forward, I think. All of them, all 10.
And if you're talking about Rage 2, there's a lot of feet in general, because mutants and stuff everywhere. But we will get to that. Let's talk about their sort of opening focus, in which they came out and basically described their biggest games, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, as being immersive, single-player experiences. Good news, I guess, for many people. I didn't ever think that it was in question, that it wasn't going to be a single-player
100%.
thing.
It's because it came straight after Fallout 76.
And
I think that's why.
Because a lot of people were talking about Fallout 76. It's sort of weird retro-style graphics. It's kind of more focused on multiplayer. I thought it was quite weird that they had to then specify, like, by the way, don't worry, we still do make single-player games.
Yeah.
We can, and we can also make fun of ourselves because that Skyrim, what was it called again?
It was very special edition.
That
yeah.
I laughed a lot at that.
Me
I
too.
enjoyed that they took the piss out of themselves. So let's talk about the games in question. What do we know about Starfield?
Very, very little. We know pretty much nothing about that or Elder Scrolls 6. I was really surprised. I have face on my egg because in the predictions video, I said we would see nothing from either of those games.
We said that we were going to see anything like past the end of the year from Bethesda, but
And look at us now. And now both of them are announced. I think they're both very far away. They were described as, Starfield at least was described as a next-gen single-player experience.
Yeah.
Whether they mean like current gen, because that's still sort of being referred to
they
as
just
next
say
gen.
next generation to make it sound colourful, not
Yeah.
literally say it's going to be a 9th gen game.
Yes.
But then again, as we will detail in Microsoft's press conference, they definitely were hinting at possibly new consoles.
Oh, yeah.
So they are in on the ground floor with all of this, so maybe they are developing it for a brand new console further down the line. Like, there is so much speculation that we could throw at Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6. First of all, we don't know where the Elder Scrolls 6 is set. Ewan and I were talking before we came in here. We were saying that it could be the pirate area. It could be like a Tamriel redone. It could be... Who knows where it could be?
Just points to where on the map, and it's a good enough chance that it might be set there.
My fingers and toes and talons are crossed that there will be at least some point where we get to go to the Argonian homeland. I want to go to the poisonous swamps,
Yeah,
man.
I've been wanting this since bloody Oblivion, man. When I first booted up that game, that was the first Elder Scrolls game I ever played. And I was Argonian through and through, and I want to go back to
They're
that.
the best guys.
They're
Better
my
than
boys.
those dirty Khajiits. And yeah, I am being racist
Jesus.
in that front. Yeah, stole my sweet
New
roll.
side of you there.
So yeah, I mean, Starfield we know very little about, apart from the fact that it's in space and that there was a time
Cool.
continuum that ripped it out. I do feel, if I'm being honest, I could have maybe done without either of these being teased in this fashion. I would have much preferred more meaty content, because Bethesda actually had a lot of content going in other areas, and I feel that people left that just talking about the big ones like, oh, it's Starfield, oh, it's Fallout 76, oh, it's Elder Scrolls. They do other things.
A lot of stuff cropped up last night, this morning, that I wasn't expecting to see, especially stuff that's like, oh, this is actually coming like moderately soon. I was quite surprised with a lot of these reveals. So where do we start?
I mean,
the question.
We could start with possibly the really unfortunate Andrew WK performance. Now, this is the thing. You didn't like it.
I think it was more.
Yeah, it was alright.
I like the music. I think they just really did it at the wrong time.
Right.
To open the show with that was a big stumble in my book.
But this is the thing. Andrew WK is a great guy, like fantastic musician, like just amazingly talented. He released a jazz piano album a few years back, and it was actually better than it was totally unexpected but brilliant. Now, he came out, and the thing is that if you go to an Andrew WK performance, you give the same energy back that he gives you. You're not sitting down at a press conference with a load of other suits who look like, who's this chap? He's rather large, isn't he? Why is that man wearing shorts? It's very unprofessional, this. Like, they just didn't get it. And I think that ethos carries forward to Rage 2, because in my mind, I don't think Rage 2 gets what it is.
Ooh.
There's a massive tonal discourse that it's having with itself.
Right.
It paints itself as being oh, it's wacky, it's over the top, crazy, crazy, crazy. But then the dialogue given by Walker at the beginning was like, I've lost my family, I've lost everything. It's like, what are you then? Are you meant to be taken seriously and are rage in the sense that it's going to be a revenge tale, or is it going to be over the top, silly Borderlands clone? And if you can't meet in the middle, you're going to have a game that's going to alienate both sides.
I sort of understand what you mean, because it does have that wacky tone. It looks very Bulletstormy, I thought, where you were just bouncing guys around, but like you said, like the dialogue is sort of very self-serious. But they did kind of get away with that with Wolfenstein.
That is very true.
Where he had like the gravelly BJ protagonist, and he's like, whoa, the gravelly BJ. I almost went out.
I mean, I'll tell you, that'll cost you down the road.
It's been a long weekend. It's a long E3. But yeah, you had like the gravelly protagonist there talking about like his revenge and how he wanted to save his wife, and like people are getting beheaded, and it was so kind of like hyper stylized that you couldn't really take it seriously. But that sort of nailed it. Whereas this seems to lean too far into like the comedy.
However,
I don't know.
However, if we're talking about the gameplay,
it looks awesome.
It looks bloody amazing.
Really good.
I mean, definitely a vertical slice demo. I wouldn't say that we're going to get anything really remotely, as it's said, like, you know, in-game graphics, but they always do that sort of thing. Where there was the bit where it just instantly smashed through scenes. I was like, oh, okay, this is very scripted. But enemy design looks very cool. The ability to get into any cars.
What we've seen, especially from id in the past, they've shown off stuff that looks as it does at E3. I mean, with like Ubisoft, you see stuff in it when it releases, it looks a lot different, not better. Whereas when they first showed Doom looks better when it released than when they showed it.
Doom.
So I feel like, I mean, because this is still id. I'm really excited for Rage 2. It could be absolutely.
Lest we forget, it's like a co-production with Avalanche as well, who made the severely underrated Mad Max game, which was.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, but it was one of my favourite games of the generation so far. I think.
Really?
Like, it just took me by surprise, and like they do post-apocalyptic open worlds really well, so they can translate that over to a game that has the shooting mechanics of Doom with Bulletstorm.
Yeah,
I think I'm in.
I mean, if in terms of gameplay, it's going to be great. The story is up in the air, whether or not it's going to be any decent. But still, looking like a lot of focus from Bethesda on that, understandable. But because we spoke about Doom, let's talk about Doom Eternal, which looks like it's going to be hell on earth itself. And my God, am I ready for another Doom experience? I wanted Wolfenstein to be Doom 0.5.
Yeah.
But a bit different.
I feel a little bit for Wolfenstein, because they were like the king when they came out. They were like, oh, this is how you do old school shooters. And then Doom happened, and they were just like, no, this is how you do old school shooters. And so to see the sequel to that, Doom Eternal, Hell on Earth, probably. I didn't really expect to see this. I know it was rumoured before we went into the conference, but to see that fully announced with no release window as of yet, I think it was 2019.
I'm still pumped for it. QuakeCon.
Yes,
they revealed at QuakeCon in August.
I mean, but there have already been a lot of speculations as to whether this game is going to be a single player, like as in the next installment, because a lot of people were saying, well, why don't they just call it Doom 2?
Yeah, that's what I thought when they revealed the title. Like when they showed it was called Doom Eternal, I thought, oh, good grief, they're going to tell me, this is a mobile game. I did kind of get that vibe. I was really concerned, but then the guy did say Doom sequel.
Okay, that's fine.
So I think this is Doom 2. They've just decided to call it Doom Eternal rather than just Doom 2.
Unless it's going to be a kind of arena-based shooter style.
I don't think so, because they've already got that base covered with Quake Champions.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm sure Doom Eternal will have the single-player campaign, which obviously everyone will buy it for, and also the multiplayer, which is still good, but not.
Yeah, it was all right. You know what?
The thing that you'd buy the Doom game for, but I feel like it'd be the same sort of thing again as Doom 2016, which is absolutely fine in my opinion.
Absolutely. I'm fully on board with that. Now, a lot of focus of the Bethesda conference, a surprising amount of detail went into Prey. Now you go.
All right, I'll calm it.
It may or may not have been. I'll tell you what. We'll play a quick game, a 10-second game. Out of the three of us, who do you think voted Prey as one of his best games of 2017?
All right, okay, right. I bloody love Prey. To see so much of the focus on their conference on this game was wild to me, because we knew it was rumored that they were working on like a DLC. And they are not only working on a DLC, they are working on new game modes. We got a story mode, a survival mode, and New Game Plus, which a lot of people have been asking for a long time. And of course, we got the VR Typhon hunting like multiplayer game, which is weird, but I'm down for that.
Essentially a prop hunt in Prey.
Yes, pretty much essentially just that.
The amount of content that they're giving to this game that is just over a year old, or just under a year old now, like I have to actually commend them. This actually reminds me of what they did with the original Rage. Rage came out, it fell off the map for a bit, and then about a year later, with no warning, they dropped some DLC on it, and people went back to the game and said it was some of the best content the game had received. They seem to be doing the same with that. It's just they quietly squirreling away, and then boom, they could have released this as a brand new standalone game, as kind of like a Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero something. They could have done that, but they've just said no. We're just
That's what I was
expecting.
expecting, a standalone expansion for Prey rather than just blunt DLC. But the fact that it's all free, I think.
I might miss that one. I don't know if it is.
I don't know
I
whether
think we might have mentioned it. I'm not 100%. I know it definitely all came out last night, which was just wild. You were just like, oh, here it is now, and I'm
guessing it's all free. But
there's a cool little mechanic in that they kept saying that every time you boot up the DLC, which is called, let me get this right, Moon Crash. Brilliant. Every time you boot it up, it plays differently. The hazards are different. The enemies are different. Which they said infinite replay possibilities, which probably isn't true, but it sounds wild.
Anything with permutation and stuff like that, I've got a lot of time for. So you know what? This might be the thing that actually gets me invested in it enough to actually play it.
Give it a go. It's so good. It is so good.
And then to tidy things up, we're talking about Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is going to be set in the...
expecting this.
No, me neither. It's going to be set in the 1980s and focus on two sisters and basically...
BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters.
That's it. Yep. So
okay.
Yeah, it's I genuinely didn't know what to say on this. I was like, cool, Wolfenstein. And then I was like, okay, that's a...
And then I think for me, it was like, okay, this is, the old Blood I really enjoyed when they did that. And then it said, oh, you can do this, but it's also co-op. It's like...
That was a big deal for me.
That's cool.
That's the thing that now... Bethesda have these first-person shooters. They've got Rage, they've got Doom, and they've got Wolfenstein, and they're very similar, if not in tone, in mechanics. I know Rage and Wolfenstein are hit-scan weapons, whereas Doom are more projectiles, but they play very similarly because it's an ace sort of first-person shooter gameplay style.
Yep.
To have Wolfenstein be co-op, that is a big win for them, I think. I think it gives you a different way to play that game, and if they continue that into, say, the next true sequel, that's a great way to sort of differentiate these experiences. And I'm hyped to play Youngblood with, someone by my side.
Yeah, no, I think that it's if they can carry across the tone and the gameplay mechanics of the previous that they built on, then brilliant. I mean, id Software, Bethesda, they make shooting games arguably better than some of the other AAA publishers that are more well known for it. So, it could be 2018 could be the year of the Bethesda shooter. Very strange statement that. I mean, we'll finish off this by talking about Fallout 76. We got some more details on this. Definitely confirmed now as being a prequel, which does throw up a lot of questions actually, because I mean, maybe I'm being really stupid, and maybe it is just the answer is that it's set far enough away from the nuclear blast to not being affected, but full-on vegetation, full-on, trees and forests.
Yeah.
That kind of, not bothered me, but a few questions were raised as to whether... Surely ground is irradiated for 200 years? After, so would it have just gone back?
I feel
it doesn't make sense.
I feel like it does make sense because we're going to find out in the storyline of 76 as to why the world is as it is when we get to it in Fallout 3 and in New Vegas and in 4.
I mean, I'm really, really excited to get any sort of more lore from the Fallout world. I think that is the thing that pulls me in the most. I mean, Fallout New Vegas is easily my top favourite game, followed closely by Fallout 2, the very old one.
Right.
And I just love exploring and getting more tidbits. So to have things to connect these together with maybe the events of Fallout 3, New Vegas, I'm well up for that.
For me, this was a mixed bag because, like you said, it's all online. There are no NPCs in the world except other players, which might end up being a mistake, but it makes sense.
Did they confirm that?
That's what in the write-up I read this morning. I think it was in the actual presentation that no NPCs.
Yeah, that's
only other players because you're the first people getting on to you're the first people replaying
that makes sense.
world.
I mean, this thing, there's a lot of potential with this game, but the question is that everyone asks, can Bethesda successfully launch a multiplayer online game? The answer is no, they didn't do it very well the first time.
Hence why they're doing the beta.
So I'm I don't know. There's a lot to be said for this one, and I just hope that they don't do the same thing that they did with Elder Scrolls Online by making it seem like you were the only one that could stop this great evil.
Yeah.
You and 50,000 people that are behind that.
I'm excited for it irrelevant. If I can get Fallout 4 with all the settlement building, all that sort of stuff with other people, absolutely
I think
sold.
that they said it was 4 times bigger than Fallout 4.
Did, yeah.
Now, size has never actually been an issue with me nor my games. So it's one of those things where I'm not entirely sure why that was a boasting feature. I would actually much rather have if it was... Because somebody pointed out that the max capacity for a vault somebody said it was like 350 people or something like that. Somebody did some stupid research into the size and density of blah, blah, blah. And so they were saying, right, okay, does that mean that the server cap is going to be around that number as well? If so, why would you need something that's 4 times bigger
I
than
don't think it is,
Fallout?
because Todd Howard did say that you're going to be waltzing out into a wasteland, not a theme or a carnival or something. So he said, I think it's going to still, the dedicated servers are going to be quite small. I don't think it's going to be 350 people on a server.
But they're still like, why make it 4 times bigger? Like, I'd much rather have a smaller condensed map if you're not going to be bumping it. If there's going to be no NPCs, then I'd much rather be bumping it into people more frequently than not.
I mean, again, hopefully we'll get more information as to like server numbers and stuff like that a bit closer to the time.
I mean, if they just make it into like DayZ or like PlayerUnknown's,
it sort of didn't look like, at least going off the trailers, it didn't look to be on the level of stuff like DayZ, kind of like every man for themselves. It seemed to be very focused around teamwork. I think you can team up with...
It is more like Rust and Ark as people were expecting it to be, I think.
The server capacity is interesting, because I know you just mentioned 300 there, but I think it is confirmed that Vault 76 had a capacity of 500 people. So whether that'll be, I doubt that'll be like the server numbers. That seems pretty huge.
That'd be amazing.
But like you said, you do want to be sort of running into people like quite frequently. You don't just want sort of wasted space. I'd rather have a smaller, more compact, more densely populated open world.
I think that's why they might have made it bigger, so you won't bump into people as often, because as he said, you are in a wasteland.
Yes, and I guess you are making your own structures, so you want this kind of expansion you can build upon.
You want to be able to have time to build stuff, because if it's more condensed, you'll start building something. Oh, look, somebody else has turned up, and it's
it's the more that we talk about it, the more sort of like up and down I feel about the whole thing. But
I'm excited nonetheless.
It's a new Fallout game. I'm always going to give it time for
coming this year, November 14th. I want to say.
Very ambitious that release date. I think to get something off the ground and successful.
I'm intrigued as to when the beta launches. I'm going to be doing my research for that today.
But yeah, as soon as we know, we'll let you know. So that was pretty much the Bethesda conference. Out of 10, what would you guys give it?
Like a solid 8. If we found out more about Elder Scrolls and Starfield, they could have easily knocked up to a 9. I didn't expect to see them. Good surprises though.
Yep,
9.
Yeah, about 8 or 9 for me as well. It was a really enjoyable time and a great way to get E3 sort of kicked off for us here in Blighty. So there we go. Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments section below, as well as which are your favourite games that were listed, which trailers did you like, which trailers did you absolutely hate. And as always, I've been Jules.
I've been Rich.
I've been Josh.
You've been awesome, and we'll speak to you soon.
Bye.